Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MLG Arena here in Columbus, Ohio. We got a packed house for this next matchup. Optic Gaming facing off against Rise Nation. Lots of fans been making some noise all day, but I expect this to be our loudest match of the night.
Absolutely, the Optic Gaming fans always show up in full force, no matter where we are for an event. So I think, right now, the crowd especially is going to be huge in this match. When they make noise and just get on the rise, guys, as Optic gains momentum, it's going to be huge for Optic Gaming.
All right, before we get to the match, we got to introduce you to our teams, kicking things off with our 8th seed, Rise Nation. Now, Matt, break it down for me. Talk to me about each player on this squad and their current role.
Chino, he's going to be that slayer for this Rise Nation lineup. Very dominant hardpoint. When we were in Orlando, a lot of players saying one of the better hardpoint players in the game. Look for Chino to come out and have a big first map against his Optic Gaming lineup. And Diabolic, a player a lot of people don't talk about, but his stats from Season 1, very good. An even KD in Respawn, then a little bit higher than that in S&D, but still, playing that support role pretty well. He's able to be that secondary slayer.
Up next, we got Pac-Man. This is the guy Sharp said needs to go off if Rise wants a chance to win. Something interesting here, his stats not always the best. The respawn efficiency, though, one of the lowest from our friends at COD Stats. Don't know what all goes into that mix, but really, I'm looking for Pac-Man to step up in the respawn games. He's got it in Search, but Sender, this is a guy that was kind of the backbone of Aware at the start of the season.
Right.
He was kind of the shining light. Rejoining with Chino, though, his teammate from Noble. They've had a lot of success in this room. Last time they were here, they made it all the way to the finals, finishing second behind Envy.
And they're going to have to put in a lot of work to get by this first team. Obviously, going up against Optic Gaming, one of the strongest lineups in Call of Duty history, put together. Going to have it's going to be Optic Gaming right here, as you see on your screen. Crim6, Slayer, one of the most dominant players in Call of Duty, one of the winningest players in Call of Duty. It's kind of the leader of this team in-game and out of game.
And what I love about Krim, he's totally changed his playstyle from Super Slayer to does whatever the team needs. He's really relying on Formal and Scump to get the kills. Formal, his bout, phenomenal. It says SMG Slayer there, but look for him to bring out the AR for the majority of this match. His first blood's nearly 30%, a 1.14 KD throughout Season 1.
And then Nadeshot, you see the stats right there, 0.89 KD in Respawn, 0.94 in S&D, but the other players are getting so many kills on the map. There's only so many kills readily available, man? Right? But he gets the kills that are important, the ones on the hill, and that's what's huge for Nadeshot.
And then, of course, we have the king, Scumpy, tops the leaderboard in almost every category, a 1.24, 1.21 in S&D, and almost 32 kills per Respawn game. The man is he's been a monster. Let's just put it out there.
When we were deciding the MVP for Season 1, you look at every stat that's available. Yeah. And Scump is either first or second. So they're just clearly a dominant player in Advanced Warfare. I think, Formal and Crim6, though, taking a little bit of that pressure off Scump definitely makes it easier for him to do his job.
I was going to say, and I think that's really what I've been most surprised by with this Optic Gaming squad. We knew they were a God squad when they first formed. When you saw Crim6, Scumpy, and Formal all coming onto the same roster, you're like, this is simply an amazing lineup. But I've really been impressed by Nadeshot lately. Yeah. The man, he's just the perfect fourth. He fills in, does whatever they need, controls the objective perfectly. I really am excited about this Optic Gaming lineup, but the question is, do you think being the top dogs now, is there any more additional pressure on top of being, the favorite team in Call of Duty when it comes to the fan base?
There's a ton of pressure, obviously being the #1 team in Call of Duty. Every other team is, pretty much gearing up to try and beat you. That's really what they're playing for. And you see right here the key player matchup for this first hardpoint. It's going to be Scump and Diabolic. You see Scump stats in hardpoint, Chris. 1.20 in KD, 7 caps a game, 31.98, pretty much 32 kills per game. When you're getting that type of production out of one player, and then you have Formal and Krim, by the way, backing that up, it's very difficult to beat.
Well, another category that Scump leads all players were most 40 bombs. He was on top of that. I believe he had 12 or more, potentially even 14 40 bombs throughout the regular season, just 44 games of hardpoint played there. Solar, one of those maps where you're going to see some big numbers. We saw Parasite drop a 40. We saw Huke drop a 40. Will Scump be on that list as well?
I think so. I think he's going to have a massive game one. Then you see for Rise Nation, it's going to be Diabolic, a 1.03 KD, 7 caps a game, 26 kills per map in respawn on hardpoint, you're going to look for him to be that secondary slayer. Chino, we expect him to play well. He's played well on hardpoint throughout the entire season, one of the better hardpoint players in Advanced Warfare. You're going to need Cinder or Diabolic to really pick it up if they're going to have a chance to beat Optic Gaming in this first map.
Now, Optic Gaming as a team, they outslay their opponents 65.27% of the time. Rise Nation, just 34.6% of the time.
Right.
So it's all going to come to the key gunfights for Rise. They can't expect to hang with Optic with Optic Gaming when it just comes to the raw gun skill and just massing total kills. But I think if they rotate properly and get those key cuts, those key rotation kills, they have a chance of hanging in here.
The thing that has been so successful for Optic Gaming is that they're able to force their playstyle on other teams. So they pretty much just ramp up the pace, ramp up the pace, ramp up the pace, and then it just comes down to gun battles. And you're not going to win most of your gun battles against those players. It's just not going to happen. You need to take control of the pace of the game if you're Rise and really slow it down. Just win the gunfights you need to. You don't want to force tons of engagements. That's what you're going to really look at for that first rotation of hills. If the engagements are high, kills and deaths on both sides, not going to be good for Rise. I'll tell you that right now. They're going to need to slow the game down and just win the gunfights you need to. You put it perfectly.
All right, let's talk about the key hills on this first map, Solar. We're of course going to see the game loading up any second here, but talk to me, where can Rise gain the most amount of time?
Now, we saw WR do a pretty good job taking time on that first hill against FaZe. They were able to take a little bit on both sides, put them in a nice advantage going into that third hill, but your third and fourth hill are going to be the ones that you're going to have to rake up tons of time on. And we see Optic, in Columbus for the open event, they didn't do a good job of breaking hills. That was really their one problem. They tried to just strong arm teams from one side and flood those hills. When you break hills, you want to pinch, and they do such a great job now forcing the action from both sides, and with their slayers and accuracy, it's so difficult to fight on both sides of the hill.
I just looked over at Rise and Optic Gaming. Nadeshot getting the boys fired up, but I saw all smiles on Cinder. He is not afraid to go toe-to-toe with this squad.
I mean, they really have no pressure coming into this match, right? I mean, they got in at the last day. Obviously Optic Gaming, huge favorite in this match. There's no pressure on Rise in this one.
They got nothing to lose here, basically.
Right, yeah, they have nothing to lose.
So we'll see who is going to go to the Sentinel squad. It looks like Optic Gaming making their way over there, so they're going to spawn back near the garage. Matt, is this the preferred starting spawn in your opinion?
To get that second hill, it is, but once you have that second hill, you want to be spawning up top, and then you can just flood down from there. And then for that third hill, that's really when you want to control that Sentinel spawn area.
All right, for some of you new fans out there, of course, our blue team in this first game is going to be Optic Gaming. They're the Sentinel squad. The red team is going to be Rise Nation. We're on board currently with Formal, who has opened up perfect 2-0. You see Nadeshot, Scump also with 2 kills apiece. Not a whole lot of points. You see just 13-0 after 30 seconds. But really, Rise Nation not putting too much pressure on the hard point as I expected.
Well, they need to get Formal out of those positions, and that's why he is such a dominant player in Advanced Warfare. When he has that bow and he's able to just slay out, you can't get any SMG pressure on the hill. You see the player on the hill for Optic has not fought any gun battles. You're just seeing Nadeshot just hanging out on the
chilling.
hill. Yep, Crim and Formal just winning those long-range engagements.
Now, originally I said not a whole lot of points. 34 after just 1 minute. I'd take it back, Optic. Jeez, I did not expect them to stay in it. Nadeshot, what I was saying, it looked like he was going to rotate. Instead, felt comfortable with the coverage. And man, is it paying off. They are dominating that one. There is another 4 down as Formal, Scump, and Krim all just picked up kills. We take our screen to Scump. Tell me about the King, man. How is he able to put such ridiculous stats on the board?
Okay, so he's able to just push out straight through these hard points. When you have players like Krim and Formal, they're dominating with the bow. You see Formal starting off 9-4. Krim, he's going to get off to a 6 and 5 start, but still, with the areas that he's holding down, just allows Scump to just push up into the face of the opponents. And when Scump gets on a roll and he gets playing aggressive, there's no stopping that guy.
Formal taking out 3 players, hurts one, kills the other. And we're going to take it now over to Scump. Chino trying to break in. Nice kills from Scump. He picks up 3 in your kill feed. And it is just 7 points after 2 minutes for Rise Nation. The rotation going down, though, and it said it's hills 3 and 4 that they need to lock down Pac-Man in a key position.
They need to lock this hill down in the worst way because they are down 75-11 right now. Pac-Man picking up a nice intro kill, but it's going to be interesting to see how Optic Gaming attacks this from the minimap perspective. It looks like they flooded into the hill and they've gotten control of it with Scump and Formal picking up 2 kills. Let's see how they do pushing that side out. They need to push out the left-hand side. Get Rise spawning further back away.
Big kills from Chino and Diabolic. Chino gets another, go for a third. And he is going to get help with Sender, who has switched over to the bow for this hard point. Sender going to fall, though. Both players going to be dropped, and Scumpy is just punching people on his exit to the top of the map.
And you see how Scump has pushed out a little bit further from the hill, and that Rise has spawned further away, but he noted that nobody was flooding down that right side, so he tried to rotate back. Still 15 seconds left on this hill. You know, we'll see where Optic decides to spawn and push, and it looks like they're just going to play for this next hill, and I like that call. You know, being up by that much, no reason to challenge and then lose the next rotation, give up even more time.
Look at the domination. I mean, everyone just fell in the middle of the map for Rise. Optic Gaming spread out perfectly. 2 guys in the hill, 1 still in the pool doing damage, and then, of course, they have the B Street covered. So Nade Shot, last man inside for the moment, waiting for some support off the respawns. Everyone's there to back him up now, and all 4 members have it locked down. Nade is watching A Street, turns around, has to look out. A little bit of pressure coming in now. Can Chino get it? No! He is going to get turned on as Nade Shot gives him the business.
And that is not a good sign for Rise Nation. You know, on this hill, you need your bow player, you need your main slayers to really hold down that alley, and if they can't do that, it's going to be a difficult time taking this one back. And you see Krim, he's been having a bow on some of these hills. It looks like they've gone to a 2-bow setup, you know, for the middle hill and this one. Krim just picking up the ASM-1 right there. But that's a very nice play out of Optic Gaming, because you add Formal and Krim, nobody's going to get close to the hill.
Yeah, the real question here is, will Optic even get a chance to put up 40 kills? They're at 125, still 6 minutes left, but they could potentially end this game before the 2-minute mark.
Oh, I would not be shocked if that's the way it ends. You're going to need Rise to take a ton of time here on this last hill, and then on that middle hill get a nice chunk of change in order to force, you know, some action for the second and third hill.
Credit goes to Krim for the spawns on this hard point. Also damage being done in the middle of the map. Who is that? It looks like it's Formal, who just continues to slaughter with the bow, adding 22 kills, 13 deaths, and he's on a 2 streak right now. But Nade Shot, 5 streaks, surviving from the top hardpoint, finally going to be taken down. We take it back to Krim, who's just going to milk this time, and as you see on the minimap, Krim, very few engagement opportunities before anyone can get to him. The kills are being laid down by his teammates.
We've seen pretty much throughout this entire first half of Hardpoint that the player on the hill for Optic isn't fighting many fights. These are pretty much the only gun battles we've seen the Hardpoint player fight right there from Formal. Otherwise, they've done such a good job of extending out and pushing those spawns far enough that the guy in the hill has nothing to worry about.
Finally, Rise is going to break in, but there's only 7 points left on this hill, and it's going to be moving. So Hardpoint is going to rotate. We'll see who is going to get in there first. Sender just trying to sit top glass, drops in for a half second before he's cleaned up. Now it's Chino's turn. Chino gets 1 through the gap, going to find a second, won't go for the melee, and he's cleaned up. Sender, up top catwalks, can he keep Optic out? It looks like Nade Shot sitting pretty inside, has not seen an engagement yet.
And you know, Nade sitting at 20 and 13 with 5 caps. We saw this in the 5K over the weekend, last weekend. You know, he's doing a nice job in the slaying department. You know, picked it up a little bit that weekend, and right now carrying over to LAN, 20 and 14, having a very nice game for an OBJ player.
I like the objective Nade Shot, man. It's fun to watch. He's really got this shot down with his ASM-1 as you see him pick up another 2-piece on your screen. Krim, pretty quiet at 17 and 17, has done a lot of the dirty work for his squad.
Krim is more of the in-game leader for this team. I think he's helped Scump a lot out on Hardpoint. You know, back in Black Ops 2, you know, kind of the knack on Scump was that he's a great player, amazing shot, amazing reaction time, just really, you know, just made some questionable decisions in Hardpoint. I think Krim has really, you know, helped Scump out tremendously in the mental game area.
Krim rotating all over the place is finally going to be taken down. Formal sitting up top, waiting for the new rotation. It's here, and he is going to get the call out. Everyone's up top. Won't be able to do the damage. Hurt 2 players. Wasn't able to pick up the kill. So here's Rise's opportunity. Chino, he went down, but Sender still pushing with Pac-Man and Diabolic. Pac-Man now inside the hardpoint. Can Sender get these key kills on the back of the map? 188 to just 70 with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Rise needs to shine right now.
And the difference between these two teams is you see when Rise gets the hill, that the players aren't pushing out from the hill. They're just sitting on the hill and playing from there. Not really a lot of aggression because they don't really have that, you know, type of player who can take out 2 to 3 people as they push the hill. On the Optic side, once they get control of the hill, you're seeing, you know, Nade and Scump pushing out further because they know if they were to drop, they have Krim and Formal right there to pick up the slack.
And there's another situation where Chino inside the hardpoint, he has 11 captures, but really can't hold it. Every time he gets pushed, he seems to go down in the one-on-one. So Pac-Man now on your screen. We talked about him needing to step up. He's only -5 right now. Can he get some big kills? No, on the first push. Gonna get some cleanup action from Sender here. Optic, though, 3 men inside the garage. Rise continuing to all press from the same side. It's the opposite of what Optic did when they did the takeover strat, and it's really not working.
Right, you can't just flood from one side. You don't want to flood to break hills. You want to flood to get control of spawns. You want to pinch to break hills. That's not the way you want to do it. It worked out there for Rise, but one of the stats actually that's going to interest me, Puckett, and I love a lot, is that Formal has no captures. And you kind of question, why would you like a stat where somebody doesn't do anything in the OBJ department? But that's his job. That's his role. His role is not to get captures. His role is to just slay at range, and that's exactly what he's doing.
You know what else Formal did, though? In that 5th hardpoint, he picked up a good 20 seconds to let Krim run out.
Yep.
So he doesn't have captures because his teammates already had control, but he is doing some objective.
Right.
I really like what Optic is doing here. In fact, they're going to leave Nade Shot down. Rise should have the first opportunity at controlling the top hardpoint, but not if Krim continues to slay like he is. He's going to be pushing up pretty aggressive. Out go the nades, not going to find anything. Pac-Man's waiting for him, and after that kill, Krim can flood in, gets the assist, and gets the kill on Diabolic. Optic Gaming has just retaken this setup in 3 seconds, and Krim is going to continue to slaughter 5 straight kills.
And the timing of that was absolutely perfect. So when we were on with Krim, Scump was on that right side of the map, and he was just waiting for that intro kill to come. And once that intro kill came from Krim, Scump started to push up, and he was able to gain control of that hill, just causing a distraction for Krim.
Krim pushing out. One player did sneak into the hard point. That's going to be short-lived. 12 more points. 20 seconds left on this hard point. It should be all over before the hill rotates if Krim and Scump keep locking it down. You hear the let's go coming out of Scump. He's getting fired up. 250 to 108. Optic Gaming making a statement on Solar.
They do such a great job of baiting and switching, something that's really underrated for numerous teams that we see right there at the end. That was a perfect example of how to break a hill between Scump and Krim, and that takes so much teamwork and communication in-game, especially a game like Advanced Warfare that's so fast-paced.
Scump 44, 28, 10 captures, 2 defense. The man is a monster. We asked if he would make another 40 bomb for us. Well, he delivered, my friend.
I mean, just playing absolutely phenomenal, and everybody from Optic Gaming goes positive in that first hard point, and then everybody on Rise. The closest one to positive was Sender, 34 and 37. I know Chino, a little bit of a rough game. We're going to need some better plays out of everybody.
Yeah, we really needed more from Chino in that first one. You said he was a top hardpoint slayer. He just really didn't have the opportunities. It seemed every time he got in, he was flooded from a different angle.
Right.
The Optic KDs, 1.15 was the lowest on the team. That belonged to Nade Shot. You had a 1.2 from Krim, a 1.19 from Formal, and a 1.57 from Scumpy. Absolutely ridiculous numbers, but the question is, can they continue to outslay? S&D's coming up next. Optic said to be weak in it. The stats don't back that up if you look at Season 1.
Yeah, the stats don't back that up. I think, though, Rise Nation, this is their best chance to win one of these games. If they win this S&D, definitely, I mean, not looking good for them to win the whole series, but I think if they can force that Game 5, maybe steal that Detroit uplink, or maybe the Ascend CTF, they can make a comeback in the series.
All right, guys, we're going to take a short break. Be right back. Game number 2, S&D on BioLab, coming up next.